I'm Mia Chen, 29, and if you'd told the little girl in Croydon who shared a bunk bed with her brother that one day she'd be bankrolling his entire adult life, she'd have laughed until she wet herself. But here we are, November 2025, and I've just transferred the last $1,800 for Liam's Notting Hill studio rent, again. The skylight in my Shoreditch loft is dripping because Arsenal lost to Spurs last night, and I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor in yesterday's hoodie, eating cold rice from a Tupperware while I edit a GRWM video that'll earn $800 if I'm lucky. Liam lost his job at the Soho influencer agency in the 2023 bloodbath. 50 staff gone overnight when the metaverse turned out to be a fancy PowerPoint. He showed up at my door with a North Face puffer and eyes like a kicked puppy. Just till I'm back on my feet, sis. That was 24 months ago. I gave him the sofa, then the spare room, then the whole flat when I moved to Shoreditch. I paid for the Sony A7S III because content is king, the 400 monthly Canva Pro because branding matters, the collabs with Dubai influencers who ghosted after the free stay. 50 to the 800 total. I still have the Tesco meal deal wrapper. From the day I bought his ring resize, $3,500 for a sapphire the size of a 50p, because his fiancée deserved the best. I planned the engagement party like it was my wedding. Rooftop at the Boundary, millennial pink balloon arch, Polaroid station with Fujifilm Instax, vegan canapes from a Brixton caterer I found on Depop, $2,000 out of pocket. I even designed the save the date in Canva at 2 a.m. Gold foil font, eucalyptus border, my own tears smudging the trackpad. Liam hugged me through FaceTime. "You're a legend, Mia. Family first." I believed him. I practiced my maid of honor speech in the mirror until the words felt real. Then, 3 nights before the party, my phone buzzed at 2:14 a.m. The DM slid in like a paper cut. Keeping it tight with core supporters. "Sorry, sis." So I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. The balloon arch mock-up was already in his reels. The fairy lights I'd ordered from John Lewis were twinkling in the background of his fiancée's stories. I didn't cry. I opened a new note on my phone and titled it, Boundary Issues. I watched the whole thing unfold like a car crash in slow motion. Liam's reels hit 1.2 million views by midnight, #EngagedAF. Location tag the Boundary rooftop, my balloon arch sagging because the helium guy was late. My Polaroid station now branded with the fiancé's skincare line. There was Liam in the linen shirt I'd bought him for his 30th, kissing her under fairy lights that cost $180. The caption, "Blessed by our ride or dies." Ride or dies. Not the sister who'd eaten pot noodle for dinner so he could have ottolenghi. I refreshed the reel 47 times, each view a fresh bruise. Comments poured in, obsessed with the setup. "Who planned this?" Liam replied to a brand account. All fiancé. Name, queen of details. No tag. No credit, no shame. At 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzed with a voicemail. Liam, slurring over rooftop bass. "Mia, what the fuck? You ghosted me? I need $5,000 for the honeymoon deposit. You owe me. You promised support." I played it on speaker while the city lights flickered through the skylight, the word "oh" looping like a broken record. I opened my laptop at 3 a.m., plugged in the 30 Amazon mic, and recorded the pilot episode of Boundary Issues. Episode 0, When Family First Means Your Wallet First. I uploaded it to Spotify for creators before the sun came up. By morning, it had 400 downloads, mostly my followers wondering why I'd gone dark. Liam texted from a new number. "Saw your block, petty. Transfer the $5,000 or I'll tell Mum you abandoned me." I screenshot it. Added it to the folder. Then I called a solicitor in Camden who advertised on the tube, "I have 2 years of bank transfers and a psychologist's report on financial coercion." She laughed. A proper belly laugh. "That's not a claim, love. That's a bloody documentary." I built the case like I was filming a true crime series. I printed every transfer, 87 pages, highlighted in neon yellow like crime scene evidence. I booked Dr. Priya Patel in Islington $450 for an hour and played her the voicemails, showed her the DMs, Let her watch the reels on my cracked iPhone. Classic coercive control, she said, sipping chai from a paper cup. He weaponized guilt to extract resources. You enabled to avoid conflict. Textbook in immigrant families where honor is currency. The report was 12 pages, stamped, devastating. I scanned it, uploaded it to a password-protected drive titled Receipts. I hired an ex-Met PI for $80 an hour to pull Liam's new income. Sponsored posts for teeth whitening, affiliate links for protein powder, a cameo on Love Island, After Sun filmed in Marbella. $12K in 3 months, proof he could pay. I served the claim at his studio via a process server who filmed Liam's face when he realized it wasn't a brand deal. It was a summons. The court date was set for January 15, 2026. Liam counterclaimed $10,000 for emotional distress and loss of sisterly support. His evidence? A birthday card from 2019 where I'd written "Always here for you" in glitter gel pen. I laughed so hard I snorted. I spent Christmas alone, eating mince pies in my loft while my parents FaceTimed from Croydon. Why aren't you with Liam? I muted the call, opened Final Cut, and edited the pilot into a 45-minute special, the 52,800 engagement party. I teased it on TikTok with Liam's voicemail. 10 million views. Brands slid into my DMs. I signed with a podcast network for $50K upfront. The money felt like breathing after 2 years underwater. On New Year's Eve, I stood on my balcony, London fireworks exploding over the Shard, and whispered to the skyline, "This year, I choose me." January 15th was the kind of gray that makes you question why anyone lives in London. I wore the navy rice suit I'd bought with my first podcast check, hair in a low bun, no ring light, just truth. Liam arrived in a rented Tesla, fiancé on his arm, both in matching cream coats like they were off to Henley Regatta. The courtroom smelled of polish and desperation. The judge, a black woman with a voice like warm honey, peered over her glasses. Claimant, Mia Chen. 50 Tather 800. Defendant, Liam Chen. Counterclaim $10,000. Let's not waste the court's time. My solicitor laid out the transfers like a deck of cards. Exhibit A, $1,800 on 01/04/23. Exhibit B, $3,600 on 15/9/23. Exhibit C, the 3,500 ring resize on 11/11/25. Dr. Patel took the stand via Zoom. The defendant exhibited narcissistic entitlement, using familial obligation to extract funds under duress. Liam's barrister, a public school boy with a voice like clotted cream, waved the birthday card. My client relies on the claimant's written promise of support. The judge raised an eyebrow so high it nearly touched her wig. A Hallmark card is not a contract, Mr. Harrington. Liam took the stand, sweating through his linen shirt. She promised. Blood's thicker? The judge cut him off. Mr. Chen, sit. I didn't look at him. I looked at the judge, at the truth, at the future. Closing statements. My solicitor. This isn't about love. It's about labor, unpaid, unappreciated, unreciprocated. Liam's barrister. My client was vulnerable. The judge retired for 12 minutes. 12. I counted them on my watch. When she returned, judgment for the claimant. $52,800 plus $1,200 costs. Counterclaim dismissed with prejudice. Mr. Chen, consider this a lesson in boundaries. Liam's face collapsed like a bad filter. The fiancé stormed out, coat flapping. I stood, legs steady for the first time in years, and walked out into the rain without an umbrella. The $54,000 hit Liam's account the same day the Boundary Issues special dropped on Spotify. 5 million downloads in a week. Apple Podcasts featured it. The Guardian called it the Gen Z Dear Sugar. I quit GRWM Videos, hired a producer in Dalston, and turned my loft into a studio with soundproof foam and a neon sign. No is a complete sentence. Episode 2. The Parents Who Guilt-Tripped Me into Funding My Cousin's Wedding. Episode 3. When Your Best Friend Borrows. 800 and Ghosts. Brands. Queued up. Therapy apps, boundary workbooks, even a wine subscription called Sip and Set Limits. I paid off my parents' mortgage in Clapton, flew them business class to Hong Kong for Chinese New Year, and bought myself a white gold ring with a single diamond for the woman who finally said yes to herself. Liam's follower count tanked to Oni K. He started busking outside Notting Hill Gate Tube with a sign, "Will influencer for food." A TikTok of him went viral. Caption, "When you sue your sister and lose." I didn't watch it. I was too busy recording a live episode at the South Bank Center. 800 tickets sold out in 6 minutes. The theme, forgiveness versus forgetting. I wore the ring on my right hand, mic in my left, and told 800 strangers, I don't hate my brother. I just don't fund him. 1 year later, November 11th, 2026, the anniversary of the snub, I threw my own party on the same rooftop. No balloon arch, no Polaroid station, just 40 of my actual ride or dies, fairy lights I paid for myself, and a cake that read, Boundaries and Champagne. My parents cut the ribbon on the Clapton Flats new extension. Dr. Patel gave a toast. The podcast hit 50 million downloads. Liam DM'd from a burner. Congrats on the pod. Any chance of a collab? I've got 200 followers now. I screenshot it, posted it to my 1.2 million followers with the caption, keeping it tight with core supporters. Sorry, bro. Then I blocked the number, turned off my phone, and danced under my own lights. London glittered below, Shard, Gherkin, the Thames like a black ribbon tying it all together. I wasn't the girl who paid for love anymore. I was the woman who sold out arenas teaching,